Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for the collective for the shift of the moon's nodes that have moved out of Cancer and Capricorn and are now in Gemini and Sagittarius. So the South Node, which has been in Capricorn for the last 18 months, has now moved into Sagittarius, and the North Node, which has been in Cancer for the last 18 months, has now moved into Gemini. And this is significant because it will affect all of our lives over the next 18 months to come. Now, the last time that these two nodes were where they are now was 18 and a half years ago. And 18 and a half years ago will take us back to 2001. And they shifted out of Cancer and Capricorn and into the sign of Gemini and Sagittarius just after the infamous date of September. They moved in October. And they joined Saturn and Pluto, who were also in Sagittarius and Gemini at the time. Gemini had Saturn in it, as well as the North Node, and Sagittarius had the South Node there, as well as Pluto. So this is also interesting because we are shifting into the same kind of energy as we had back then as well. And back then, what was affected mostly was air flight. Air flight rules changed. There was a lot more scrutiny, a lot more laws were made about flying. Flying became something that wasn't as cheap as it had been for a long time up to that point. And so everything to do with flying and air, because Gemini is an air sign, changed dramatically. And also because of Sagittarius being the sign of adventure and long distance travel as well, that had a big impact on the aviation business. And we are already today seeing the same kind of thing happening now with what's happening in our lives at present. And so Saturn has been in Aquarius, and when Saturn moved into Aquarius, everything instantly went into lockdown. That was when the lockdown really hit hard. And so we have Saturn in Aquarius, which is an air sign, and we now have the moon's node, North Node, also in an air sign, Gemini. And Gemini is our more day-to-day learning experiences, how we learn, the way we learn, why we learn, what we learn. So it's also to do with education and on a more mundane level, because Sagittarius is also to do with education, but Sagittarius is more to do with a higher sense of education, a higher mind in a way, more to do with philosophy and kind of religion and that kind of thing. So as we move further into these two signs of Gemini and Sagittarius, we will see shifts occurring within our world, happening more profoundly, shall we say, as these things take root, as the two nodes take more root within the signs of Sagittarius and Gemini. So quickly, I pulled the two cards out of the Moon Wisdom cards, as I like to call them, of the two nodes, just to give you a quick idea of what they are about. So the South Node is all about what we need to let go of, what we need to move away from, what we've been hanging on to. And it's something that we are very comfortable with as well, whatever it is that we have in the South Node, particularly if you're born, like at the moment, if you have Sagittarius as your South Node and Gemini is your North Node, you will feel it at some point quite strongly. But normally what we find is that we are drawn to whatever is easy for us in the South Node. It's what we've been kind of, in some ways, we're comfortable with it. We know it. It's like almost like we've come through with the wisdom and the understanding and the knowledge from, because this is about karmic past lifetimes as well. Both of the nodes are. But the South Node is what we're needing to let go of. It's what we already understand and what we're already, like I say, comfortable with. And so we can find ourselves gravitating very easily towards whatever the energy is for whichever sign the node is in our own astrological chart. Talking of which, there will be a free natal link in the description box down below for you to go and check that out for yourselves. And the nodes always move in reverse, retrograde, retrospectively. They always go backwards, which is why they've just moved out of Cancer and Capricorn. And the South Node here is where we are trying to get to. It's the energy of us having to shift out of our comfort zone. This is the comfort zone, but this is what we need to leave behind. And this is saying literally step out of your comfort zone. So this is what we need to learn and what we need to integrate into our life. The experience from this is something that we have yet to fully digest, if you like, or fully encompass, fully appreciate, or what's the word I'm feeling here? Fully accept, maybe accept into our lives as well. It's an energy wherever this is. So this is going to be in Gemini, so it's very much going to be about our logical thinking, our mind, our processes. Gemini is to do with children, so we could be finding a lot more comes out over the next 18 months to do with children and education. Maybe also because we've all had this big space for some time now and children have not been at school. This could also have something to do with this as well. Children have probably been learning more at home than they have at schools. And so there could also be a kind of change and an upheaval, which could have something to do with this Sagittarius energy as well, what we're leaving behind and what we're moving away from. Sagittarius kind of rules things like law, justice, like I say, philosophy, higher knowledge, higher learning, pushing beyond the boundaries, wanting to know more, but also I feel personally that this could have something to do with the way that we have been taught about who we are as well. Our own kind of our traditional ideas on religion. I always see Sagittarius as very much of the Hierophant card. Our faith in something. Where do we place our faith in something? So maybe we're needing to look at where we've placed our faith in. Has it actually served us, and do we now need to let it go because it no longer is serving us as this world changes and we all move in a totally different direction? So those are the two nodes of the moon. The one we're moving out of and the one we're moving towards. Again, there will be, I feel, a lot to do with anything to do with flights and air travel in particular, and also more kind of local settings as well, that we may find ourselves not moving because we're not going to be going on as many holidays as we have been. We may also find ourselves more gravitating towards like community events and kind of looking after each other within the community, and just kind of going closer to home for our own breaks and our own pleasure as well, because we're not going to be able to just jump on an aeroplane in the same way as we have been able to in the past. So at the heart of this reading today, for the collective shift of the nodes, we have the Magician, Isis, upside down. Also for me, the card of Mercury, which is the ruler of Gemini. So it fits in quite nicely. And also it fits in quite nicely with a future video that I'm working on at the moment, which talks quite a lot about the Magician energy, because I think the Magician energy is really relevant at the moment. And also Gemini being a dual sign, and I see it very much as the as having two sides to it, and for me it represents the trickster energy, or the Loki energy as it was known in Native American Indian mythology. They knew it as Loki, trickster, not to be trusted. And also I personally see it as the Magician as well. So I see it as two sides of the same thing. Like the Magician can also be the illusionist as well. You know, somebody who can play tricks on you, play tricks on your mind. And in Gemini, it's very much about the mind as well. So also, you could also find that there will be more, because we've become a lot more dependent over these last couple of months on the internet as well, which is very much an Aquarian based thing, and it will grow. This is going to happen. We're going to become even more dependent on the internet for a lot of the things that we do. You could find that there will be a lot of kind of trickster energy out there, a lot more fraud, a lot more people trying to get you into things that, you know, that sound wonderful but actually turn out to be not as good as they promise. So which also can be a Sagittarius thing as well, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter promises bigger and better than it can sometimes necessarily actually deliver as well. So just be warned, keep an eye out for that. Don't kind of go down any pathways of kind of trickster energy, because, you know, it looks really good. Kind of look behind the scene, look behind and find out as much as you can before you kind of sign up to anything or give any money to anything, because I think there will be a lot more of that going on online. But it does also represent the Magician energy here as well, which is all about manifesting, and what we're manifesting and why we're manifesting it, and how we're putting our energy into what it is that we're manifesting. And it doesn't make any difference whether we are how can you put it, whether we manifest knowingly or whether we manifest unknowingly, we are still manifesting. And I think that's kind of the key for me at this moment in time as well, especially as the nodes have just moved into Gemini, and Venus is also in Gemini for the next 4 months. I just feel that there's going to be a very big, because as we come out of this time of lockdown as well, things are changing and shifting, and we need to really kind of decide for ourselves what it is that we want to manifest. And the way that we manifest is literally by an idea, a thought that comes into our head, which becomes a feeling and an emotion, which if we're really caught up by that, we can then feed that emotion with the fire of passion and drive, and kind of really want to get it, an idea, to grow it, to make it something achievable. something real, and it's the real, the physical side of it. It's the bringing it into the physical side which makes all the difference. But you can do that by being positive, or you can do that by being negative. So it's all about the thoughts. Again, it's that dualism. It's the negative and the positive. Which way are you going? Which path are you going to go down? Are you going to see it all as being really crap and bad news and everything's falling apart and it's all hell on earth? Or are you going to see it as like, this is something that's meant to happen and I can do something with my life, I can change my life by being positive about this and accepting it, and just kind of growing the energy of positivity in many ways. So that's how I feel that this card, this is what it's trying to say, particularly because it's in reverse as well. So it's saying be careful of where you are, what you are manifesting and how you are manifesting it. And I feel as though this is going to become something that becomes more known as well. That, I mean, there are pockets of people out there who understand this theory, philosophy, way of life, and they have been doing it for themselves for a long time. But I feel as though this is something that is going to become in itself much more obvious and prevalent and kind of mainstream energy. And it's not about kind of putting your nose to the grindstone as such. It's about the energy, where you focus in your energy and your mind in particular, your thoughts. And we have it crossed over here today for this collective reading with the star. Now these cards are the goddess cards. I thought it would be a nice idea, seeing as the moon's nodes are kind of feminine in some ways and kind of related to the moon energy of femininity and the goddess worship, which has been around for millennia upon millennia. The star energy is what's crossing us, and this is for me all about the wishes, the hopes, the wanting. In some ways I think it does relate to the Sagittarius energy as well, star here, because it is kind of wishing upon a star, which I see as very Sagittarian. Connection as well, like realizing that we are connected to everything and that we can, it is all about us making our life, our story, our creativity. So this is our challenge at the moment. Our challenge is to go through this as a healing process and to heal parts of ourselves that have not been allowed to be who we really are, I feel, in many ways. Energies that have been held back from us and denied to us. And these things are shifting and becoming more obvious. It's like the tide is no longer being able to be held back, which kind of links in some way to the 100th monkey story as well, where the 100th monkey does something that the other monkeys have all done, and all of a sudden it kind of spreads. I feel that that's the kind of thing that's happening at this moment in time. So the healing energy of the star, and the star of course for me also represents the Clarico energy of holding that space for ourselves to heal, which is what I also feel is going on globally, collectively. We're all kind of in that space at the moment. So it is also quite an Aquarian card in the sense of it being all about being connected to everything else and seeing the connection with everything else. And I see this very much again as the kind of Clarico energy of holding that space. And I often talk about Clarico as being the wife of Chiron, Chiron the wounded healer, and Clarico being the space that he healed himself in, or never actually managed to fully heal himself in, but he helped a lot of other people heal. He was a healer who couldn't heal his own wounds, but he could heal other people's. And Clarico kind of held that sacred space, the divine sacred space, in order for that healing to take place. And she is still, Clarico, the energy of Clarico is still in Capricorn, still hanging around the kind of Jupiter, Pluto energy, and still very close to Saturn as well. So we've still got this kind of dynamic going on here. And because Saturn and Pluto still haven't, and Jupiter still haven't completely kind of, energies haven't completely finished. Even now, it's still ongoing kind of energy, and it will keep on going for a lot longer. So what we are seeing around us at this time is the kind of outcome from that major conjunction in January, which if you watch any of my previous videos, which are all up on my channel, you will hear me talking about all the time. I kind of bring them in because I think in the bigger picture of what's happening, they are very relevant and important points to keep making. So in our head, and what we are aware of, we have the Eight of Swords. And it is a feeling of being trapped. It is a feeling of us kind of bringing, it's almost like, you know, we could be blaming ourselves in many ways for what's going on. Or other people are blaming us as well. But there is just this kind of feeling of trapped, of like we can't get beyond the boundaries. We can't get beyond our limiting mind thoughts as well. So we kind of repeat the same story. And I think that's also what this Magician card is kind of saying here as well. That, you know, the more we keep within the confines of the belief system that we have, again, a very Sagittarian thing, belief systems, the more we will just keep repeating the same story over and over again. And this is what we need to leave behind. We need to leave behind what we have been told is the way things are, because nothing is ever set in concrete. Everything changes, and our wisdom, our knowledge and our understanding of things change as well. And it may take time for it to be accepted as being something different to how we thought it was, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. But here in our heads at this moment in time, we are still kind of, I feel, just repeating the same path, same stories, same, it's like just going over that same groove, if you like, that same kind of record that's been stuck for so long, and it kind of needs this kind of push in order for it to move onto a different part of the record, different part of the story. Talking about records, I'm definitely showing my age here because not many younger generation have a clue how records work. And I'm probably certain that there's quite a few out there that have never even seen one. So very different time period. But within this trappedness, I mean, the interesting thing, even if you look here, she's pinned down and kind of allowing herself to stay trapped in this story, because really all she has to do, I mean, the swords are not even actually pinning her down at all. All of this is her own thought process, her own mind, her own kind of acceptance of what's happening in many ways, when all she has to do is just get up and walk away and she can be free. And I think that's quite symbolic of what's happening at the moment as well across the world, There are certain places now that are no longer allowing themselves to live this any longer. They are awakening, shall we say, to the fact that they either acquiesce or they don't. And if you don't, then you find your freedom. And if you do, then you're going to stay in that same place and be trapped by your own fears, your own stress, your own worries, and it's going to aggravate things. It's going to get worse. It's going to get more out of hand for you. Your fears will just grow. And again, I bring that back to this kind of duality that I was talking about here, about this kind of, you know, which path are you going to go down with this magician? He can show you two different ways. He can be the trickster or he can be the magician. And I feel as though the magician is more about the freedom and the trickster is more about this. So what we have moving away from us at this moment in time is the sun in reverse. So it's talking to me about a lack of clarity, a lack of understanding, a lack of feeling as though we're being kept in the dark. We don't have all the answers. We don't have all the pieces, even on some level. It's like we're still trying to kind of put it all together and come up with some kind of clarity, some kind of insight, some kind of idea of understanding what's just gone on and how it's happened and why it's happened. So there is this sense of, for me, kind of being in the dark and confusion, the sun. But it is also, even when it's in reverse, a card of kind of overcoming the darkness. It is a card of triumph and victory. It just means that it's going to be a lot longer before we achieve it. We've still got kind of a way to understand this for ourselves, a way to go, a way to kind of realise, are we being kept in the dark? Why are we being kept in the dark? And I will say, particularly here in the UK, we are definitely kept in the dark, literally. You try and find anything out and it's very difficult in the UK. So what's below in our subconscious? We have the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is about self-esteem and self-worth and self-value. Putting yourself and things that you value first. Which could be, in this case, this could be relating to the fact that we've all had to kind of put ourselves first. It's upright. So it's a good energy, it's a positive energy, and it is very much about value, which in the last, I think it was the last new moon video that I did, that I spoke very much about what it is we value, why do we value it, how do we value it, and I kind of spoke a wee bit about that earlier as well, but I think this card is very much to do with that. It's this questioning or questing, kind of searching on some deeper level of achievement, of having got to a point where we can kind of pat ourselves on the back and look at how far we've come rather than looking at how far we've yet to go. And in this card she has a peace dove as well, a dove of peace that is kind of either flying down towards her or she's releasing it. So the energy moving in for us is the Two of Wands, Two of Staves as it's called in this particular deck. And the Two of Wands or Staves is about an idea. It's about something that has kind of got us motivated, and this is the energy moving in, but it's in reverse. So again, I feel as though this has got something to do with this Magician energy and this Star energy and this kind of us standing there and not really knowing what are we going to do next. And this is the energy that's going to move in as everything kind of lifts and things become more open to us again, kind of as we're standing at our window here and kind of looking out at the world. A lot of people are going to be asking themselves, what next? What's the next step? What is it that they really want to do with their lives? Because I feel a lot of people have been asking questions while this has been going on about the life that they've been leading, and if they're still happy with it. Are they in alignment with who they are? Do they just want to go back to what they were doing previously? Can they go back to doing what they were doing previously? So I feel that this is the energy that's going to come in as we are, especially as we move further into this kind of Gemini and Sagittarius shift of the nodes as well. Again with the two here, the dualistic energy. Of Gemini, even though it is more to do with fire and creativity, which of course is also Sagittarius energy. And so our hopes and our fears at this moment in time is the Strength card. And strength is always, for me personally, about inner strength rather than outer strength. It's about us kind of taming ourselves, our inner beast, our like maturing, no longer kind of reacting so much as or no longer no longer reacting to situations without kind of putting some thought process into them. So it's about using our strength, our inner strength, for our benefit, for our productive means, in a productive way rather than in a destructive and counterproductive way. So it's taming the anger, taming the beast. It can also relate, I think, to the inner child as well, and how we have to kind of heal that inner child as well with this star energy here in order to be able to move forward with a strength that is more about not being affected so easily by things. But here with the star energy as well, the healing, the younger child, we also realise or recognise that everything is connected and that we've never really left our childhood behind even. You know, it's still there, it still comes out in our day-to-day life and generationally as well. When we kind of repeat some of the stories and some of the things that we have been doing over and over again that may not actually come from ourselves, but they may also be kind of things that we've been taught or have picked up or conditioned just by our parents as well, just by being around our parents or our teachers or role models in general. And kind of having to, on some level, come to terms with our inner strength, or even realizing that we have that inner strength as well, the ability to kind of stand up and say, no, that's enough, enough is enough, it's got to change. We can't, you know, we're not going to go back the way that things were, and have the strength to stand up and have a backbone and kind of confront the things that have been in many ways kind of using our strength against us, I feel, as well, with this card. So, but this is our hopes and our fears, rather than it kind of being something that is actual. But often our hopes and our fears can materialize into something, because we're kind of feeding, again, that dual side, the hope and the fear. Which side are we going to feed? We're going to feed the fear, or we're going to feed the hope. And the star does relate to the hope as well. And this is our challenge. So are we going to allow ourselves to be manipulated, controlled from without, or are we going to go within and find that inner strength of the adult that we have become? Or are we going to allow ourselves to still be treated like children and told how to do things and why we have to do things? Especially when we're being kept in the dark and not being given answers, as if we're too stupid to understand. But we are aware that we're being kept trapped in a certain way of being as well. So the last card that I have here as the outcome card is the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is about walking away, leaving behind a situation that no longer works. Emotionally, it's leaving the past behind. Each of these cups relates to emotional situations that we will have experienced in our life. And I'm feeling quite strong, again, connection with this Strength card here. Having the strength to do this, having the strength, finding that inner strength to walk away from what no longer is serving us on an emotional basis as well. And this is the kind of outcome. And we also have, over the next few days moving in to our lives, we have the full moon in Scorpio. And I see this as quite a scorpionic full moon kind of Scorpio card, because it is about delving down into the depths of our emotions. The Eight of Cups talks about kind of walking down into our subconscious realm, into our kind of deeper emotional feelings and things that have been buried for a long time as well, things that we may not be aware of, and things that we need to let go of. Scorpio, it's about rebirth and well, death, birth and rebirth, which I feel is what we're going through at this moment in time. But because it's in reverse as well, there is this general feeling that we're not necessarily doing this with willingness. There's still this kind of attachment and this pull back. If you see here, she's looking over her shoulder. So it kind of feels to me as though we know we have to walk forward. We have to move beyond where we've been. Collectively, kind of emotionally and historically as well. I feel that this is kind of a bigger shift of things. you know, with the Gemini Sagittarius shift of the nodes for the next 18 months, and then it's not going to be repeated again for another 18.5 years. And the energy that it's kind of bringing in and back into it because of what was happening the last time that these nodes were in the places that they're in now, Sagittarius and Gemini, and the story and the history of what happened around the period of time from 2001 in October, and just before that in the previous month as well, which kind of led up to all of the stuff that followed. So I feel that there is still this reluctance, there is still this kind of pull, kind of like, you know, looking back and wanting to kind of stay in that comfort zone, which I feel is this energy, you know, as I was talking about earlier, this comfort zone. There's a comfort, even though it's painful, even though it's hurt situations, even though it's emotionally maybe not good for us, or it's not allowing us to grow. It's keeping us, again, I feel, you know, with the 8 here as well, it's keeping us trapped in a certain way of thinking and being, and it's not allowing us to move beyond it and to grow beyond it. There is this reluctance to move beyond where we are, I feel, with this card at this moment in time. So I'm very quickly going to pull some confirmation cards here as time is moving on. So I'll just quickly say, as I'm shuffling these cards, thank you very much to anybody who's subscribed to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do. I will very much appreciate it. Tap the bell so you can get future videos, and also to like, please, thumbs up my videos, because the more likes and thumbs up I get, the more the story gets put out into the bigger world of YouTube, the more my messages are heard, the more people can come back to my channel and also subscribe, and so the cycle continues. And it's all thanks to you for watching and subscribing, so I do really appreciate you, and thank you very much for doing so. So I'm just quickly going to put cards over all of these and just see where the story is taking us. Also, like I said, there is a link down below for free natal charts. Also, anybody who might want to have a private personal reading with me, there is an email in the description as well. So if you'd like to do so, you can contact me and I will get back to you. Cards are flying. Flying cards. That's good. That's nice. So, last 2 cards here. And the outcome. So we got, over the top of the central cards, the Magician and the Star, we have, both in reverse, the 2 of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. So this is about hard work. This is about putting time and energy and effort into something here. This is also about magnetizing, and again it goes along with the kind of dual energy that I was feeling with the Magician, and the kind of positive and negative thoughts as well. What are you pulling in and what are you pushing away? Are you pushing away what you're really wanting, pulling in what you don't want? because that is also a part of manifestation as well, is knowing the energies that are in play when you watch your mind, because that's really what this is about. But it is, the Two of Pentacles is also very much about juggling things as well, and kind of bringing things into the physical realm. So I just feel very strongly that this has got something to do with that whole, and also you've got this rainbow here in the background as well, but it is in reverse. So it could be that it's going to take us some time to even get used to the kind of, you know, the new world, shall we say, and how things are going to work, because they are going to be very different, especially when Saturn and Jupiter join up in December, and we have our first Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in an air sign since I think it was about 600 years ago, and it's setting off a pattern for the next 200 odd years of Saturn and Jupiter meeting up together in air signs. So it's like kind of coming out of the density and the kind of real fixed energy that we've been in for so long. And so we also have the Queen of Pentacles here in reverse as well. So the Queen of Pentacles is feeling that she's not in a position of stability, not able to give easily of herself. Again, this could have something to do with kind of hoarding energy as well, I feel. Which kind of blocks that whole manifesting energy as well, because it's coming from a place of scarcity rather than a place of abundance. And knowing that there is enough of everything. And we have the Three of Pentacles over the top of the 8 here. So this is about teamwork. This is about us kind of working with other people. This is what we are going to be doing more of, especially as I was talking about the communities as well, with this Gemini Sagittarius node shifting. Things are going to become more localized. Things are going to be more teamwork with people around us, maybe family units again. Families pairing up to do things together. But it is also about, like I say, teamwork. So maybe it's also got something to do with no longer being prepared to be kind of blindsided in a way. Of us knowing that in order to achieve something great, we will have to kind of work in a team. We will have to work together as a collective. We will have to kind of be aware of the value of each other as well. That each person brings something different and unique. And that we're no longer prepared to allow ourselves to be trapped and told how to think and how, why. And we have the Queen of Swords over the top of the Sun, and the Queen of Swords is the air energy. It is the energy of cutting through the BS and all this kind of, I feel as though it's like literally cutting through the dark. She has this sword here, this sword of truth, which is literally kind of glowing. It has this glow about it. You can see it there. So it is kind of, you know, seeing the light in the dark, cutting through it and cutting out what no longer, or what is blocking the light, cutting through and allowing the light in and through, because it is the mind energy again as well. So whatever has been keeping us trapped in this kind of darkness, if you like, this place here, and us trying to work on it, this is also about bringing the truth, the sword of truth, the light of truth into the dark and cutting through. And I think we will be seeing a lot more of that as well. Also because Gemini rules, or Mercury rules media as well. So I think that there will be a big shift there as well, as the node, the North Node, moves through Gemini. More truth, I feel, will be highlighted and revealed and brought out from the dark. And we have underneath in our subconscious energy both the Four of Swords and the Fool, but again they are in reverse, and they're over the top of the 9 here of our kind of self-confidence, our self-worth, our self-value, which I feel has been very much kind of brought into question over this last 2 months, because we are no longer just able to go, like, be free to do what we want. We can't just go to work when we want to go to work. We can't just, and this is where a lot of us place our value. We place it in what we do rather than necessarily who we are as a person, as an individual. We're much more kind of, you know, we see ourselves as a label. We see ourselves as what we do. Who are you? What do you do? Kind of thing, you know. And so I feel that this is about us having to learn to trust and take this time out, this time that we're taking out here with the Four of Swords, which is about this kind of period of sitting back, and it has been forced on us. It isn't a thing that we particularly wanted to do, but the planets and the universe wants us to do it. And so when the bigger energies say this is happening, then this is happening, and it plays out within the lower levels on the earth plane, but it's played out through those that have the power in order to enforce it, shall we say. So I do feel as though, you know, there has been this kind of forced retreat, in the sense of we are having to kind of, you know, find ways of doing things that maybe we haven't done before, or ways to entertain ourselves and kind of take a new look at ourselves. And with the Fool, it is very much about trusting the journey, trusting our next step, trusting a leap into the unknown, but it is in reverse. So again, there is this kind of reluctance of being able to trust. What do we trust? Who do we trust? How do we trust? And we need to trust something that is bigger and kind of the bigger story. But first of all, in many ways, we have to know what that bigger story is. And I think that that's also something that these cards here are saying, is we don't know. We don't know yet. Although this energy is becoming more obvious as this energy is moving away, and what is happening is becoming more obvious to us. And what will be moving in as the energy shifts is this Chariot card here. Again, we have the Sun up here as well, and it's in the right way. It's up the right way, should I say. So it's kind of, again, we have the two, we have the Jewel, we have the masculine and the feminine, the so within as without, as above, so below. There's so many different things that you could put onto these two, because they're both dual energies here. But the Chariot talks about moving in the right direction. The Chariot talks about, and because it's a major arcana card, it kind of gives me hope that we will kind of start to see things clearly, especially with the sun above as well, and the sun shining down and kind of, I mean, at the moment these two are just kind of sitting there and they're not doing anything, they're not moving, but it does talk about things becoming more balanced, our head and our heart being more balanced, our wisdom, our knowledge, our understanding, our insight, our intuition, all of these things are becoming more balanced. And it could also talk literally about the North Node and the South Node as well, as they move through Gemini and Sagittarius. But it is about driving things forward. It is about having a destination, it's a journey. It's about, and it kind of relates for me with this card here, this Fool, kind of his journey, and reaching this point on the journey of I can put it, of kind of shifting, almost like shifting timelines in a way, kind of moving from one path that we were going down onto another path. And again, I feel that this is the dualistic magic, like magician manifesting energy here at play as well, saying again, like, you know, which path are you going to go down? Because whichever path you're going to go down is where you're going to end up, for good or for bad. That you are in the driving seat here. You are, we are, each of us individually is in the driving seat of our own life. We have this within our hands. We hold the reins. We are the ones that control where our lives are going. But we need to wake up and realise it. And I think that's what this is about as well. This is what this magician for me in reverse is kind of saying as well, that, you know, we need to wake up and realise that we have always had this. We've always had this, but it has been denied us or hidden from us. Again, I think this Sun card has a big part to play in that as well, because people are beginning to question a lot of what's going on around them in this world. But we have that driving energy. We have the reins. It's our lives, and we are in control. We are the ones every day who can decide whether we will or will not do something, whether it feels good to us or doesn't feel good to us, whether it's coming from our heart or our head. Which one do we listen to? Which one do we go with? Which one's driving the, you know, and it is a balance. It is a balance. And another thing with this Queen of Swords energy as well is also about communication as well. So it could also be about like more communication coming out, more communication. When I say communication, I also again mean like the media and things coming to light, and yeah, just more communicating, people communicating with each other a lot more than they have done for a long time as well. A lot more truths coming out, a lot more people being a lot more honest about who they are as well, rather than feeling that they need to hide in the dark. A lot more kind of unique personalities coming forward, I feel as well on some level there. And so over the top of this Strength card we have the Ace of Wands, which is in reverse. So I do feel as though we, at this moment in time, because this is hopes and fears, remember the placement is hopes and fears, it's not actually manifested as such, but I feel as though this is kind of saying that this also the colours are very similar as well. So for me, it relates to kind of the root chakra energies from the heart down. So it's about our fears, and our fear in many ways also comes from our root chakra, our survival. How are we going to survive? Are we going to get through this? Those kind of energies, because it's in reverse. And I also feel as though the strength is kind of being worked against us as well. Like the fear element is being worked against us. It's being used against us to make us feel fearful, to make us feel that we have no strength. We don't have a kind of rootedness as well. Because that's what this card for me is talking about. Also that we feel as though it's out of our hands as well somehow. This is just hopes and fears. So there's a part of us that is also hoping that we do have that inner strength, that we can take it back, we can change our direction. Because the ace is always about, all aces are about a new energy that comes in. It's about opportunity. It's about where do we put our creative drive, because this is what the wand is about: fire, creativity, passion. And what are we going to channel it into? And so for me today, it's talking about this kind of sense of insecurity stemming from the root chakra, which is all about our scarcity and our survival. The 3 chakras up into our heart chakra, root chakra, the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra are all kind of showing up for me today in this card. And they are all to do with fear and our connection to the planet as well in many ways, and our creativity. But the energy that's come out for what the outcome is going to be over the top of this 8 here, which is us walking away from our past, if you like, is the Ace of Pentacles, and it's come out up the right way, which I really like, because this again is another opportunity, but it's an opportunity of starting something that's going to grow for us, something that's going to grow into something that's going to be worthwhile, something for us to put our time and our energy and our effort into, something that's going to sustain us and feed us. And so with this card here being all about our kind of scarcity and our fear of survival, this card here being up the right way is saying to me that this is grounding ourselves in our heart chakra. That's what I'm feeling more, because of the green here as well, and the physical realm. This is about a shift somehow, and I don't feel that it's to do with cups, which is more emotion. I feel that this is more to do with our connection to our planet, our heart energy, and our connection to what really sustains us and what really feeds us. And that isn't people selling us things as if they own it, because it all originally stems from here. It all originally stems from this earth energy. Everything that we have comes from this planet. And I feel somehow that there will be this kind of shift back, and I've spoken about this before as well, this kind of shift back to things that are more basic, more natural, more community orientated, things that are going to feed us on a different level, and where we're going to put our energy and why we're going to put it into something. The value of something is going to shift for us. It's not so much going to be about money and finance as it is going to be about its worth on a sustaining level. Is it going to sustain? Is it long lasting? Is it something that we can grow with. Like, is it going to grow for us? Is it going to expand? Is it going to feed us? Is it going to sustain us? Those kind of things, I feel, is where we are heading towards, especially with the kind of Uranus in Taurus energy that we have at this moment in time as well. So that is the reading for the shift of the nodes, the moon's nodes, into Gemini and Sagittarius, and what I think over the next 18 months we're going to be facing and looking into as a collective as well as individually as well. So I did pull, I can see that the time is racing on, I did pull some Indian medicine cards, so I'm very quickly going to read the very last bits of these. The first one that came out was alligator, and it's card number 50, and the word to do with alligator is integration, which I think is very interesting as well, because I think that that's kind of the manifesting energy as well, and the kind of integration of the all the different elements as well, the kind of the mind, the thought, the fire, passion, the emotions that we have to put into it as well. So I feel on some level that that's also what the integration's about. But here it talks of contrary alligator often signals a time to laugh in the face of conflict in order to survive. If gator's belly is floating exposed on top of the water, it could mean that rash actions or thoughtless words have put you in jeopardy. Gator's treacherous jaws warn you not to fall prey to quick fix solutions or schemes, which is kind of what I was talking about earlier about the trickster energy as well. To be careful of that trickster energy and don't get caught up in things that look appealing but aren't necessarily. If contrary gator's bite has severed an artery that fed your life force, a band-aid will not cure your present situation. Integrate stable long-term solutions and options. I think that's this energy here as well. I think what it's saying is that we can't just cover it over with a band-aid. What's happened in the world is so huge that we can't just kind of cover it over and move forward as if nothing's changed, because it's just going to keep bleeding out until eventually we will all have to kind of do something about it, individually and collectively again. If you have become inflexible or judgmental, detach from the muddied thinking or clouded feelings that have imprisoned your progress. And that to me is this card here, the Eight of Swords, the inflexibility, the kind of being trapped in something, but also having been trapped, allowing ourselves to be trapped by just accepting in many ways what we thought we should, which isn't necessarily the same as what it is, if you understand what I mean. In all cases, Gator reminds you to scan more than the surface, integrating all possibilities, potential risks, unexpected outcomes, and ultimate rewards. And I think that's also, where am I? This card here, scanning more than the surface as well, going deeper, go deeper into things, look at it from every angle. Integrating all possibilities, potential risks, unexpected outcomes, and ultimate rewards. If you integrate all these viewpoints, it becomes easier to roll over and come out on top. And that's what I think this is about as well, coming out on top. This card here, that although it doesn't appear to be a very good situation that we're all going through, ultimately it's going to change our lives for the better. So I also got Squirrel, which also came out in reverse. So both alligator and squirrel came out in reverse for us. So I will quickly read Contrary Squirrel. And the contrary medicine of squirrel is the hoarder, a fearful person who expects the worst and is stuck in waiting. That's interesting. That's how I'm picking up with this energy here. Waiting for something to happen is the trap. No action equals stagnation. And that's this energy here, which is what I think we're feeling, this stagnation, this kind of trapped energy, being stuck. But a lot of it is to do with our own mind and our own thoughts and allowing ourselves. No action equals stagnation, but a little of squirrel's erratic energy might get things moving. If squirrel is hanging upside down on your branch, you may have begun seeing the world through opposites, hoarding your thoughts of abundance so that fear of scarcity takes hold. You may ask yourself, and that is very much what I'm picking up on with this card here, have I denied my ability to produce enough space for abundance to enter my life? Have I denied my connection to the Earth Mother from whom all things flow? Which is what I was talking about with this energy here. In moving too fast, have I taken on the erratic nature of squirrel without having any focus? Am I leaking my energy on worry instead of gathering power through being prepared? And I think that that's what this is about as well. Remember, one of the squirrel family gathered the energy of eagle and connected to the Great Spirit. Now this squirrel can fly. I think that's this energy, even though it's not so much about flying anymore. But I feel that this is this energy, a new destination, a new path opening up for us, a new movement forward to something that we have yet to experience. And so the last card that we got was Mouse, because 3 of them came out today. And Mouse energy was up the right way. And Mouse talks about scrutiny. And it says, I will touch everything with my whiskers in order to know it. Paradoxically, this is both a great power and a great weakness. It is good medicine to see up close. It is good medicine to pay attention to detail. But it is bad medicine to chew every little thing to pieces. Mouse has many predatory enemies, including birds, snakes and cats. Since mouse is food for many, it has a highly developed sense of danger at every turn. So-called civilization is a highly complex set of components which calls for more and more organised skills and scrutiny to detail every year. Mouse is a powerful medicine to have in these modern times. Things that might appear insignificant to others take on enormous importance to mouse. Mouse people anger many other medicine types because they appear to be nitpickers. Mouse people will spot the lint on your coat even if it matches in colour. They will try to convince you that the simplest task is fraught with difficulty. They are fixated on methodology, not an easy word to say. They sort and categorise and file away for later use. They may seem like they are hoarding, but this is the farthest thing from Mouse's mind. They are merely putting everything in order so that they will be able to explore it more carefully at a later date. The chiefs tell us that without Mouse there would be no systemisation of knowledge. Mouse ended Renaissance man and hearkened to the age of specialisation. Mouse knew from the very beginning that there is always more to learn. One can always delve deeper and deeper and deeper. If your personal medicine is Mouse, you may be fearful of life but very well organised with a component for everything. You should try to see a larger picture than the one staring you in the face. Develop largesse of spirit. Try to become aware of the great dance of life. Realise that even though you may be sitting in Los Angeles, there is also a New York. A solar system, a moon, a galaxy, and an infinite universe. Jump high, little friend. You will glimpse the sacred mountain. I think that's also this kind of energy here as well, this kind of needing to trust that there is so much more for us out there. If Mouse is in your card spread, its medicine is telling you to scrutinise. Look at yourself and others carefully. Maybe that big hunk of cheese is sitting on a trigger that will spring a deadly trap. Maybe the cat is in the pantry waiting for you. Maybe someone to whom you have delegated authority, such as a doctor, a lawyer, or even a plumber, is not doing the job faithfully. The message is to see what is right before your eyes and take action accordingly. And I think that's very appropriate for the next 18 months, especially as we move forward with all these new changes that are happening in 2020, which are going to continue on into 22, 23, even 21 after the conjunction that we're going to have with Saturn and Pluto. Things are going to change drastically and quite dramatically. So I think we need to prepare ourselves for that as well. And I think that the mouse energy of scrutinizing and being kind of everything, scrutinizing, questioning everything, is very appropriate. And on that point, I am going to finish this reading and say thank you very much again to anybody who has subscribed. Thank you for listening to my video today. I hope you enjoy it. If you have, please thumbs it up for me. And also if you want to share it, please feel free to do that as well. The more people that get to hear my messages, the more, like I say, may come back. So until next time, which may even be tomorrow, take care of yourselves and look after each other and yourselves.